As I've gotten older, I've really found myself wanting to have more notebooks and journals to write in and to document my life with. There's just something about having a physical notebook and pen to capture my thoughts and all the drawings that I create that I just love so much, and that just feels so natural to me. And so today I'd like to share all of the planners, notebooks, sketchbooks, and journals that I will be using in 2024. Currently, I would say that the most important things in my 2024 lineup, especially as a self-employed individual, would be my planners, because it is where I'm able to set goals, prioritize tasks, and focus on what's actually important. During the early stages of my self-employment journey, I used to use a simple memo pad to write down a list of all the tasks that I had and all the things that I needed to remember to do. However, as things began to develop in my business, I started to use Notion. Notion is a fully customizable digital productivity and note-taking app where you can create a fully customized workspace to organize and plan out pretty much anything that you can think of. I started using Notion back in mid-2022, and at that time, I decided to create a planner that it suited my exact needs as a small business owner. In my Notion planner, on my home page, I have this quick access section that has all of the links to the pages that I've created. I'm not going to go through all of them right now since I've already made a full Notion tour in a previous video. And I also have my template available down below if you wanted to check those out, so I'll leave both links down below. But for right now, I'll show you quickly the page that I access almost every single day, which is the weekly planner. In here, at the start of every new week, I like to write down my priorities and plan out the work that needs to get done throughout the rest of the week. And in the day sections, I just write down the tasks that I would like to get accomplished for that day. And I also have a little checklist to see which days I'm going to be posting certain content. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this page, I also have my content calendar where I keep my plans and keep track of all of the social media content that I am posting on my various accounts. All of this has been super useful for me because I can write down any notes that I have and plan everything while also keeping track of my status in reference to completing each task. This has been working so well for me and has really made this aspect of my job run much more smoothly. I've been using Notion for about 1.5 years now, and it has always worked so great for me. But this year I decided that I wanted to try out a hybrid planner system where I would use both a paper planner in addition to the digital one that I've already created. The planner that I decided on is the A6 Hobonichi Hon with the black gingham cover, and I've only just learned about Hobonichi planners in August, and almost immediately I knew that I wanted to try it out since there were just so many good reviews that spoke so highly of the quality and functionality of these planners. So let's take a look at how I use the various sections in my Hobonichi. In the yearly index at the very beginning of the planner, I use this space to track down my various hobbies and habits, some of which are tied to specific goals, and in the top section, I have them listed out. So if I do that habit or hobby on that day, I just fill in the corresponding box. And so far, I have been consistent with recording my habits, and I'm finding it to be quite useful because I can actually see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and it helps me keep track of whether I'm instilling the habits that will help me and enable me to accomplish my goals. In the monthly section, I use the space to do just a quick small doodle of the day. I don't use the space to keep track of any important dates or anything like that because I prefer to do all of that planning on my Notion planner. I could just fit so much more information on Notion, and it's just easier to move things around over there opposed to crossing things off when plans change here. But I thought I might as well still use the space and felt that a doodle would be a great alternative for this section. And I'm glad that it's just become a little daily ritual for me because it allows me to bring in a moment to practice my creativity, which is something that I don't always have the time for. But because these take less than a minute to do, I've just been loving it and really enjoying having this little creative moment each day. Now, the last section that I'm using in my Hobonichi are the daily pages. This is where I like to write down all of the tasks I have and the list of things that I need to keep track of during each day. In the top checklist section, I like to write down the tasks that I would like to accomplish on that day, and when I've completed it, I like to fill it in with a red pen. On the left side, I use the space to track where my time is being spent. So as the day progresses and I work on different things, I will write down what I was working on and correspond it to the time that I worked on it. And on the right side, in the blank space, I like to break down my main tasks into smaller lists. And lastly, another daily creative practice that I've developed in this planner is to draw in the empty spaces of these pages. As I started to use this planner, I've realized that even on my busier days, that my writing and planning doesn't take up the whole page. And so I've been also doing a daily doodle here as well. These are larger than the ones in the monthly section, and to make the pages a little bit more interesting, I've also been adding color to them. I've been using my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, and they just work so well on these pages. I have been absolutely enjoying having a Hobonichi in my planner system, and I really feel that it has encouraged me to be creative on a more regular basis. As an artist who runs their own small business, I found it quite difficult to create art as often as I'd like to, especially as my business has grown, because there are just so many things that I am responsible and that I have to get done. I have been truly loving my Hobonichi, and I feel that this one is the perfect size for me, and the layouts are exactly what I was needing. I'm not sure how the rest of the year will go in here, but I'm excited to fill it up, and I'm sure I'll continue to use this kind of planner in the years to come. In addition to having planners to help me stay organized and productive, I also keep a notebook. This is an A5 Midori Codex notebook with blank pages, and I also have a clear cover on it to just keep it less dirty and more protected. I call this my business notebook because it is where I take notes, plan out product launches and YouTube videos, and it generally serves as a big brain dump for all the things related to running my business. I have been using this notebook since last January, and I'm just loving the paper that's in here. I've used other Midori notebooks several times in the past, but I got this one particularly over the regular notebooks because this one has so many pages and it has proven to last me a very long time. Historically, I would say that when it comes to sketchbooks, I'm not really too picky about which one I will use. I've always kind of chosen ones based on price and size, and I don't really care about the characteristics or quality of the paper, because for me, I've never really tried to make finished artwork in them. I have never cared to create pretty sketchbooks, and instead I've always just used my sketchbooks to explore in and experiment with different things. And I would agree that that idea still rings true now. However, recently I've just been really drawn to Midori and their paper and stationery. So when I finished my last sketchbook a few months back, I opted to get another A5 Midori Codex notebook, but this one has dot grid paper. I was planning on getting the same one that I had for my business notebook, but when I was purchasing it, I didn't realize that I had gotten the dot grid until I opened it, but it doesn't really matter to me, and I decided to keep it and use it as is. I also decorated the cover so that I could easily differentiate the two books apart without having to open them, since I keep them both in the same place. So far, I don't have many pages filled in here yet, but this is where I do initial sketches. So for example, I have the initial idea sketches for my winter coloring book, and I also sketched out ideas and designs for my new thank you cards and freebie stickers. Now, I do also have another sketchbook that I'm in. This is the Artica 8-inch spiral-bound hardcover sketchbook, and I'm using this one specifically for the brush pen doodles that I just love to do. Previously, I would keep them all together in whatever sketchbook that I was in, but I decided that I wanted to have a dedicated space to do these, just because they really give me so much joy to create and look back at. Journaling has been a practice that I found deeply important. because for me, it has been both mentally and emotionally beneficial, as it is a tool that I use to get myself through all kinds of thoughts and feelings. It is a practice that I often recommend and suggest to almost anyone. And so the last, but certainly far from the least in my 2024 lineup is my journal. Over the past decade, I've used a variety of journals, and similarly to my past sketchbooks, I have never been particular about the type of journal that I use. I find it actually really interesting to see the different kinds that I picked up at various points in my life, and I think it's a really nice reflection of how I've changed over the years. The one that I've been using for this year, however, is the Stylogy Editor Series 365 notebook, and this is the A5 size, and it is in Yuseka Green, which you can get, I think, exclusively from the Yuseka stationery store. I never thought that I'd be the type of person that would have multiple books at one time, because I always thought that it'd be simpler to have one place for everything. But I've learned that for me, having dedicated spaces for all the different aspects of my work and life has really helped me stay more organized, and I'm able to operate things more smoothly and with less stress. And that wraps up all the notebooks and journals and sketchbooks and all the stuff that I will be using this year. But before I let you go, I do want to mention very quickly that I am changing my posting consistency, and I'm changing it to a new video every other week. I put a lot of effort into every step of creating content for YouTube, and during the past few months, I've just started to feel quite overworked and felt that I was rushing the process. Making videos takes up a lot of my time every week, and because I want to keep making high-quality videos for you about my journey, my experiences, and any gain insights, I realized that I needed to make an adjustment. I will still be here, still making content for you, and I just want to be more present with you. So that is why I've decided to make this change. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I truly appreciate you for watching and for being a part of this amazing community of super loving and encouraging individuals who want nothing but to support each other. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day and week ahead of you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!